used to die in the end. And my dad felt that that's why people didn't like it. So he went up. Within 2 days, he reshot the end and tried to put it back in the theatre. But it made no difference. So when I made my first film where the hero and heroine die in the end, my father was very against it. He says, no, you can't do this. People don't like it. This, you better consider it.
Yes, okay. Yes.
Did you write?
No, QSQT, yeah.
Did you write the story or you were just directing?
No, I partly wrote the screenplay. The basic idea was, basically it's a form of Romeo and Juliet,
Yeah.
It's a classical love story format, In each culture there's a Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, of course.
So my dad was making a Romeo and Juliet, and I was writing my cycling film. So my cycling film I was not able to complete because I was struggling to learn how to write. I've not studied as a film writer, and films was not very high on my, priorities. I watched very few movies myself, so I couldn't write that. So I said, okay, I'll direct the film that he has written. So the story idea was his, but the screenplay, which is the real thing, was half his and half mine.
Mm-hmm.
Some things which were not sort of going well with me, I would say, no, we should do it this way.
But you ended up to rewrite mostly.
Many of the scenes which he wrote are exactly the same in the film, because I'm not trying to be critical. I'm not saying let's change everything. I'm saying whatever works with this flow and with this milieu, I'm not going to disturb it just for the heck of it.
Mm-hmm.
But those things which I think have become cliched, and we're trying to do this scene, let's say where 4 boys come and try and hassle a girl. Either you can do it in a cliched way, or you can try a different set of characters. So you come up with a different set of characters rather than 4 very obviously looking thuggish guys, I said, no, they're 4 normal looking college guys. And they're not rapists, they're not, they're just trying to be friendly. But when she rebuffs them, then the bad thing comes out of them, So that whole scene, otherwise you say, oh, this is a rape scene, or oh, this is, you know what I mean? Then you just put it in a slot.
Very predictable.
Very predictable, So you're not enjoying the moment, Because if the guy from the beginning is looking like a drunkard and the girl walks in and he's leering, then okay, this is going to get hammered up now. The hero will come in and bash them. This is what you're expecting. So there's no, scenes like this I would, and even the end, the tragic ending and the scenes between the boy and the girl.
It was a little duello al sole, what is duel in the sun, what is at the end, the guy that was dying in the rocks is like a duello al sole. What is the duello al sole is Gregory Peck and
duel at noon, something like that.
Yeah,
Okay.
that was reminded me of this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think of that movie as such. But if you, but the idea of many love stories, and I disagree with that idea, where the 2 lovers, because they cannot meet, they say, okay, we'll go and kill ourselves. Now, I don't want to give that message. So, when many of the reporters would say, oh, your movie is like that movie, in which the 2 young lovers just go and jump off a cliff. I said, are you mad? I said, just because they both die. I used to be like that with the journalists. So I was not soft-edged, So I used to, and my movies become a blockbuster. And now they're coming to interview me, so they would expect me to be, oh wow, now I'm going to get some, and I'll make them feel good. And I said, but why are you asking me that question? Why do you think I should make another love story? So I used to keep whatever fixed ideas they had in their mind. I said, look, I'm not out here to make successful films. I'm just trying to make a film the way I think it should be made. But you're saying, no, it's all about success. I said, you guys have put this thought, and then later on when people don't make anything different, then you blame those guys. But I said, you are the guys who are propagating it. You're asking questions along those lines. So you're saying, are you going to make your next film also a love story? Because this was successful. I said, why on earth should I make another love story? I said, I've got, I should make a film of something which I want to communicate. And so I gave them a suitable shock when I made a cycling film. Which was completely different.
Yeah, the one I was telling you about, Giorgita Voisican.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that was a story which I wanted to make because as I was sharing, I don't know whether I was telling you or somebody else, that was actually what I was feeling. I was feeling that I'm a loser. I've wasted my father's money. I've studied for 5 years. I've dropped out. I don't know what to do. I'm angry with the world. I feel everybody else is wrong, but I'm right. You know, yet have no clue how to earn money. But I'm talking about living in the forest and living.
Yeah.
So I was a lost soul. So basically, it was out of that compassion. And so the story, of course, I wrote it differently. The character in the film was more interesting and amusing than I was. But it was about finding yourself. So it's not about a cycle race, but it's about redemption. It's about finding yourself. So when many people say that that's a sports film, I say yeah, the sports was the medium, but actually it's a realization film. It's a realization.
It's like
the realization could be in some other way.
Yeah,
It could be
resurrection.
through somebody, your mother falling unwell, or it could be that you accidentally kill somebody on the road. But the theme is redemption. The theme is not sports. So I used to try and educate the film guys. I said, look, if you guys are critics of films, you should at least know what the premise of a film is. Just because there is a sports event in the film doesn't make it a sports film. It could be about something else.
What is this film called? What's the
That's
name?
called Jo Jeeta.
Jo Jeeta.
Wohi Sikandar.
And what do you think is missing in the cinema industry now in terms of messages that directors or filmmakers should deliver to the audience?
No. So there are different genres, there are different segments. Earlier, before the 90s, it was only about commercial films.
Yeah.
So there were very less thought-provoking films which were coming out. As I was explaining, that when the theatres became the smaller multiplexes, that it became possible to try out different genres. So there are message films which are made here, like one of which my cousin acted in, and he directed it also, which is about dyslexia. So it makes people understand what dyslexia is.
Yeah.
So that was one. Then another one which he did was about a father who, and that's a real story, the
Dangal.
wrestler. Yeah, he brings up his two daughters. It's a kind of a biography, but they've taken their liberties.
Because he met these people during the program.
Satyamev Jayate, something like that. And not only him, but there have been other films on various issues talking about homosexuality. Being Cyrus was a film which was touching the subject of homosexuality, which earlier nobody would have thought that in India anybody would bother to make or dare to make a film like that. Then there's lots of these films. There were films about rape, about that kind of stuff. There was a film on communal rights, which happened in Gujarat. Excellent film.
Yeah, Amu.
No, this was called Parzania. And it was shot very well. I mean, it was not in a commercial way, because you can take a subject and then make it so chocolatey, or rather commercial, that then the rawness of it is
Even Rang de Basanti was around.
Yes, Rang de Basanti also was
Very good movie.
yeah. So I would say yes, but you will always have your mainstream genre. You will still have your mainstream film, which is nothing to do with the real world, and it has.
Sometimes they make
so,
me itchy.
But I'm saying that will continue because there is a commercial world and there is an audience for it.
Yeah.
But as a filmmaker, you cannot say that, because there's an audience for that, then I will only make films for them. That is reducing. You say, okay, if somebody else wants to make it, I'm not stopping him. But the argument that you're trying to make a blockbuster, and therefore in order to make it a blockbuster, you have to reduce the thought, that is the wrong way of looking at it. It's from the backside of a horse.
Yeah. But well, in the Indian cinema, there are a lot of people that are just caged into the role of the.
Yes. Yeah.
So they're trapped, not caged.
Yes, I know.
Caged and trapped.
Yeah, like in traditional thinking and all.
Thinking.
Yeah, another one which my cousin, he produced it, which was about a young girl, Muslim girl, who wants to be a singer.
Secret superstar.
And her mother is very supportive, but her mother is one of those battered wives, you know, and the husband is a useless guy. It was a lovely film. It was called Secret Superstar, and that person used a very nice device. So the mother tells the daughter, she says, the daughter thinks of the idea of being on YouTube, you know, but I don't know how it comes about, but she ends up, the mother says, yeah, but you cannot do that because your father will get to know. So she does the YouTube videos wearing a burqa. So that's why she's a secret superstar, because everybody gets to know her, but they don't know who she is. You know, but actually the story was not about that. That's what I really liked about the film. The story in the end is how she is actually trying to get her mother out of this.
Out of the marriage.
So finally, that's what I really liked about how that writer, young man, that's his first film. He was Amir's personal assistant. You know, so you would wonder like, what experience does he have? But I was shocked when I saw the film. And he's written it and directed it very maturely. So it's no longer about her being a superstar. Because the whole track goes towards the little girl using her, because she's now known to that famous singer, to get his help, to get a lawyer, to get her mother out from it. So you know what I mean? It went a little further. Very nice. Sadly, I mean, I would have expected it to break the box office, you know, but it did very well. But you know, now we have this mark called 100 crores. You know, I don't think it crossed that. But to me, it doesn't matter. That's not the point. But I mean, I was surprised. But then at the same time, I realized that a lot of audience would not like to see that. Meaning the Muslim audience. Because most of them are actually facing the same thing.
Yeah.
You know,
Because she is a Kashmiri girl.
they live somewhere in Punjab or somewhere north. Yeah. Not Kashmiri.
Not Kashmiri?
No, I don't think so. They live somewhere in Punjab or Ludhiana.
But anyway, I enjoyed instead the Delhi.
You saw it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I enjoyed the Delhi Belly.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the Tarantino, the Indian Tarantino
It
style.
was well done, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's my nephew who
Yeah,
plays the main role in that.
Yeah.
I think that's his best film.
Yeah.
He did it very well, yeah. In the beginning, I was thinking that he's underplaying it too much.
It's like Tarantino style. It's not
Yeah.
It's not Tarantino,
It's not,
but
but
it's the idea.
style.
Yeah, I liked it because I'm
Yeah.
a very good fan of Tarantino. Big
No,
fan.
there is an American director. I mean, Tarantino I've heard of, but I have not seen many of his films. But the American director who made it's very close to his style. You know, it's forgetting his name. But the problem is that whenever he's made a film after that, he's made it with very much the same. You know, he's got a pattern now. Brad Pitt was in that movie. He plays a gypsy. Oh, he played it so well. He plays it so well. He's not gypsy, but one of those guys who live in the trailers. Yeah, gypsy only, I guess.
It was Brad Pitt or was Johnny Depp?
No, it was Brad Pitt.
Was
Excellent.
I don't recall it. I'm not a great fan of Brad Pitt.
Oh, I like his stuff. You don't like it? No.
No, not so. Sometimes it's too leccato. How can I say? Well,
But you might, if you see this film, you may like him in this film.
yeah, I'm more.
What?
I'm more.
I don't understand this language.
No, this is
beautiful
too.
lady.
It's too like iconic with like a movie star. I don't know, like 7 years in Tibet, all the girls that went mad about because of this blonde wave that was floating in there. So,
Well, maybe that's one of his not so good films, but yeah.
No. So
There's another one in which.
I loved in Inglourious Bastards. That is a Tarantino movie.
Yeah.
Well, there is not even one Tarantino movie that I don't like, but well.
Well, especially if you're thinking of that line of business. You are going to like it. I'm trying to remember this guy's name. This movie. But his first movie was, I mean, he really set a new syntax. He set a new syntax.
Because I have watched a lot of Indian movies, and then when I arrived there at Delhi Belly, I was so surprised.
It's Delhi Belly is completely in its own bracket. There is no other film.
Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah.
Even if it's not well, but for the Indian, it was like a breath of fresh air.
Yes.
It was so refreshing. Thanks God. Yeah. So actually, it was the turning point that I started to watch more different movies from the Indian industry, because that was really a turning point.
Yeah, so there are new younger directors, and within the scope of what is possible, and there are financial viabilities, and there's a certain, you can't push against the grain too much unless you're really making experimental cinema.
But there are some.
But we have to learn, because it's because these people are breaking the rules slowly. Because if you, like, for instance, if you do too much non-linear, what's called non-linear storytelling, going back and forth, this, that, a lot of the Indian audience will just simply get confused.
Get confused.
Even I get. So I'm saying, you're not used to it. So.
Is that Snatch, the movie that you were talking about?
That's right. Yes.
Snatch.
No, I haven't watched it. No.
Oh yeah. I would have not remembered the name.
Yeah, can I say it?
Snatch.
I have heard. But
That was his first film.
2000.
The Snatch with who?
Brad Pitt.
Oh, Brad Pitt.
I think
I remember him since the Beverly Hills 2000.
I'm surprised you're saying that, because Brad Pitt has changed his personality. There's another one in which he plays this eccentric guy who's so hyper, and he ends up in jail and all that. And he's talking. I mean, completely different character he plays. He's not playing that good-looking blonde wavy hair guy.
That was Troy.
But you know why?
Was it?
No, that one with the blonde.
Oh,
that
that.
was Troy, the movie.
Yeah, but then that is going in the regular cinema format.
You know why? Because I
Quella era Troia.
watched.
C'è un film che si chiama Troy, no?
Seen on the screen Brad Pitt
Cavallo di
when
Troia.
was, making
Troy,
like a
vabbè.
TV series. So
In italiano a volte si
I
traduce.
take the
Cavallo di
TV
Troia.
series I took in dislike, and I took in dislike all the characters in the series.
Oh.
So from then, I had like a very up
prejudice,
and down, up and downs. So well, I can. And Glorious Bastards is fantastic, and all the.
What is the director's name? That's what I wanted to know.
Oh, I'll check for you.
Because that's become the catch. Like you say Tarantino's films, then you say Fellini's films, and so he's got a genre. Or you have these Coen brothers. Have you seen Coen brothers? The films by the Coen.
Oh yeah, yeah, of course.
It's
Fargo, yeah.
Fargo.
Yeah, my name is Ulisse.
Nice.
It's Guy Ritchie,
That's
this
right, yeah.
director.
Guy Ritchie is
Guy
the
Ritchie, yeah.
Madonna's former ex-husband.
I think you'll have to add a few more X's there.
Guy Ritchie is, well, the most famous is that one. It's Madonna.
Making a fantasy movie in India, it would be.
Why?
Yeah.
They have done Bahubali, which is fantastic.
Yeah, but
It's a bit.
My cousin hated it.
I
I
hate
had not
to-
seen it. I won't even bother.
I hate
I-
to.
What? Which one?
Bahubali.
I hate to Bahubali. I don't like
I
it.
don't know what but whatever it was about, I don't like that genre. You know, I don't like mythological films. I don't.
But it's not a mythology, it's just a fake film. There is
no,
nothing.
it's fantasy.
Whatever it is.
Fantasy, yeah.
It's a fake. For me, it's a.
It's not. You can't define fake. That is not the right
No,
definition.
because
It's not the right definition. You can say it's fake. It's
No,
fake is
because-
something that tend to imitate something else.
Yeah, they are really.
And it's
imitating
not.
But you
something.
can say, I think for me,
For me, it's fake. So yeah,
I-
yeah.
It's
I
fake.
get it
no,
as
no,
fake.
it's the wrong definition. Come on.
Yeah, because I found that they, I think, stole something from Mahabharata. That also the chain and a lot of things in Mahabharata there is, and he told from there. Because
But that's not a reason for not liking it. I mean, you know,
no, it's like
you can
yeah.
say, you know, you
I
can,
don't like. Okay, that's
I
true.
mean, you may not have liked the film as such, but there hasn't been a good version of Mahabharata yet. So you can't, you know, you're not really comparing it to the Mahabharata that they used to make on television. In fact, Amir wanted to make Mahabharata. That was his life's project. But a good version of it. He said the next 10 years of my life I'm going to do. So Mahabharata has been, it's the quintessential Indian
Culture.
what shall I say? It's a reference book of
Yeah, I'm reading.
of human nature and everything.
Yeah, you can find Hitler, you can find
Yeah,
Mussolini, you can
characters.
find your characters there.
It's I've not read it,
I'm
but this is
reading.
what I've heard.
I'm reading because I like it.
But I remember a version with the Vittorio Mezzogiorno. You remember him?
yeah.
Yeah, he was. I think it was Arjuna.
Arjun. Yeah. So these are the characters which repeat in everyday life. You can say
Yeah, of course.
this person is like Arjun, this is like Ram, this is
Karna, Bhima.
Draupadi.
Draupadi. Who is Draupadi?
There are in Indian families you will find them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, they are.
Yeah, it's representative of
Yeah.
actual characters. You know?
Yeah.
We may not think highly of them, but yeah.